Good morning, everyone. It's Luna Bell. Y'all, I, of course, asked Spirit this morning where are we going, and Spirit took me to Psalm 118 this morning. And I started reading it, and y'all, and I got to the word cornerstone, 18 on my timer when I said cornerstone there. And I had just call it an aha moment. Spirit said, "Looky, looky, I got something for you." And all of a sudden, I started wondering, with that cornerstone, it hit me that this is describing a dark night of the soul, and that this is far more than giving thanks from being delivered from earthly harm or whatever, or persecution or whatever the case may be. And then I went, huh? And I was like, okay, where can I want to find out some information? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna ask Chat GTP real quick. And I did. I jumped on there, 101 on my timer. I wanted to know the deeper esoteric meaning of the Psalms 118. And it said the psalm as a map of the inner liberation, 118 on my timer when I first started saying this. It's not about external enemies. It's about the soul overcoming its own inner adversaries, the fear, the ego, the doubt, the old patterns, and spiritual forgetfulness. And it said, the nation surrounding me symbolizes the pressures and the thoughts and everything that we face, which is so true. And then the next thing they point out is, in my distress, I called to the Lord. And that's verse 5, the esoteric meaning, the awakening cry, the distress shares a root. This is where the soul feels trapped by the ego or material illusion, and then God answering whatever you call God, whether you call him Spirit, the Creator, Allah, whatever your belief system is. Okay, our Creator's answering in a wide place symbolizes an expansion of consciousness, the heart opening, and the lifting of spiritual restriction or constriction. Then in verse 6, and 6, y'all, I associate 6 with balance, with the scales being balanced. The Lord is on my side. I will not fear. Esoteric meaning the realization of unity. Fear dissolves when the soul recognizes oneness with the divine creator, 255 on my timer. The divine presence fills the heart. Fear cannot remain, 303 on my timer. When you know that the divine is there and real, there is no fear within you. This transition from ego-based living to God-centered awareness. Now, it is in verse 9, it is better to trust in the Lord than in princes, 323. Princes represent the powers of the outer world, status, authority, validation, worldly structures. Esoterically, Psalms invites you to shift trust from the external to the inner divine spark. This is a classic mysticism. The world is transient, the divine is eternal. Now, I'm showing you the screenshots I took. Verse 12, they surrounded me like bees. The esoteric meaning, swarming thoughts. Bees symbolize intrusive thoughts, lower impulses, 404 on my timer. Chaotic energies, astral influences. These swarms, and y'all, I'm being reminded of monitoring spirits as well. These swarms arise when one is close to spiritual breakthroughs. But in the name of the Lord, divine identity, the cluster dissolves. When you call on that divine spark, that universal creator, then that fear is gone. You know that fear, when you believe in that divine, there is no fear there. This is a soul mastering the astral emotional realm. I shall not die but live, verse 17. Esoteric meaning, ego death, y'all, that dark night of the soul, and versus true life. This points This line points to the death of the lower self, not physical death. The eagle's illusions will not destroy me. The true self, the soul, is eternal. Live means living in alignment with divine purpose, awakening to true consciousness, eternal being, not merely surviving. And y'all, I'm being reminded of that inner spark that inner child spark, that childlike wonder that they're always telling us about. And then here, this just astounds me that this psalm is a roadmap that is given to us, and that the hidden meanings are there for all of us, and that a lot of this truth has been kept from us, but it's right here for us. Open to me the gates of righteousness. The esoteric meaning, opening the spiritual gates. And in Jewish mysticism, gates corresponds to the levels of consciousness. The gates of righteousness are the portals through which divine light flows into the soul. They enter the gates to ascend spiritually toward purity, alignment, higher awareness, that Christ consciousness. The stone which the builders rejected, verse 22. The esoteric meaning, the rejected part of self. I thought that was profound. I really did. This is one of the most mystical lines in all of Scripture. The rejected stone represents the hidden divine spark, the soul the world doesn't value, the forgotten inner self, the part of you that society or ego overlooks. But in the mystical journey, that very spark becomes the cornerstone, the foundation of your spiritual identity, the center of awakened consciousness. This is the alchemical reversal, and it was 7:07 on my timer. What is ignored becomes essential. Christians interpret this as the Christ, or the Christ consciousness. The esoteric practitioners see this as the hidden inner self, the stone as the center of the temple, the heart. This is the day the Lord has made. Awakening to the eternal now. And bind the sacrifice with cords. On verse 27, the esoteric meaning, offering up the ego. The sacrifice is the lower self, the egoic impulses. You're giving this up. Dedicating your life to the divine, offering your limitations, and surrendering attachments. 8:08 on my timer. Ending, his love endures for 11. 8:11 on my timer. Y'all kind of giggling there. His love endures forever, because it's numbered 11 and it was 8:11, y'all. But the psalm closes with where all mystical paths end, the eternal nature of divine love. Everything begins and ends in the infinite sustaining presence of God. And the summary of the esoteric meaning is of Psalm 118, the soul's descent into constriction, its awakening cry, its divine rescue, victory over inner chaos, the opening of spiritual gates, the revelation of the inner cornerstones, the soul's union with the internal divine love. Y'all, the hidden esoteric meaning of Psalm 118 is a roadmap home to divine union with our Creator. Many blessings to you, and blessed be, y'all, different perspectives with Luna Bell. Many blessings.